the two or three important questions. First is the what was the Plato's view on the state first, and the second thing we are going to discuss is related to Plato on his theory related to the ideal state. What is his theory related to the ideal state, and what Plato has said or talk about how he can create the ideal state. So in today's lecture, I'm going to discuss you the Plato's ideal state, his philosophy on the concept of the आइडियल स्टेट। मतलब कि आज की क्लास में हम देखेंगे कि प्लेटो ने आदर्श राज्य को स्थापित करने के लिए क्या बातें कही हैं और आदर्श राज्य कैसा होना चाहिए, क्या होना चाहिए, उसके क्या विभिन्न क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होंगे, व्हाट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स विल बी देयर। सो दोस थिंग्स विल बी सीन by the Plato. Means we are going to discuss that thing. So, what Plato has talked about the state. First of all, we need to know about his view on the state. What is the state is all about? Here, one thing I would like to clarify. The very important concept is during the Plato's period of the time, there was no such difference was there between the society, between the state and the government. Means most of the scholars like Socrates, like Plato, and the like Aristotle, they have nowhere mentioned about what is the difference between the society, state, and the government. So you can imagine, means they were talking about a state where they can live in a happy manner. Boundary territory may be there, population may be there, government may be there, but they were not talking about the sovereignty and all. But overall, they have had the idea about that kind of thing. So most important thing, what Plato has talked about, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, that Plato's theory of form, through which Plato has said that we need to, first of all, we all of us have to identify ways truth lies, what is the knowledge is all about. On the basis of knowledge, we can segregate the difference between the truth and the false. What is true thing is there, what is false thing is there. The second thing, we have done the study of Plato's theory of justice. Means Plato has denied the prevailing notion of the justice, that whatsoever the school of thought, Cephas, Thrasymachus, and Cicero, those thinkers were there. And during that period of the time, the concept of justice was very different. Plato has said that justice is not like the thing which you are talking about. Justice is a very important concept for the state. Like in the contemporary era, we can see that without justice we can't survive, we can't able to live. So justice is a like of breathing, a kind of breathing for us. So same thing like that, Plato has said that justice is the backbone of the state. Without justice we can't able to think about the state. So Plato has said that justice has a very long roots related to the ethics, morality, that all the persons should have to perform their duty role and they should not intervene in the works of the others. So he was somewhere talking about how we can live in a happy life. So his justice notion or his idea about the justice have had the link towards the kind of ethics, morality, as well as the how we all the individuals in the state can live a better life, how we can live in a happy state. So he was talking about in that manner. The third theory we have done about the Plato's theory of education. In the Plato's theory of education, we have seen that Plato has said that a good state, a state which he was Plato was planning, he said that a state cannot survive, a state cannot live without education. Education is also one of the important pillar of the state. Without education, the people work cannot be divided. The people will not identify what is true and what is false. The population will not aware about the fact. And most important thing, what Plato has said, the distribution of work can only be possible on the basis of education. So we can see that according to the Plato, the education was means education is a very important part of the state. Without education we can't able to think or imagine about the state. So in modern world also we can say that the education is one of the important tool. All of you are taking the class, all of you are attending the lecture, it is for your knowledge, it is for your career, it is for your job. So same thing like that, Plato has said that how the education is very important. The next thing, Plato has talked about communism of private property and the family. Plato has realized in the state the most important factor which corrupts the state, that is the property. Plato has realized that it is a property which segregates between the individual. It is a property which divides the people. It is a property which creates the thine versus mine kind of concept. So Plato has realized that the property is most corruptible thing, and property is a factor which can destroy the nature of state. So that's why the Plato has said that somewhere the Plato has an idea about the socialist kind of state. The all the means of production, all the important monetary kind of thing, or the property can be in the hands of the state. Means the property, very small property, will only be owned by the merchant class. Apart from that, what he has said, that the philosopher king and the soldiers will not carry any kind of money. All the money will be taken by the state, also property, I mean to say. The next thing, what Plato has realized, that due to the family, the people always identified or differentiate between their children and the mine children. So Plato has said that it can be better if you can make a state where there is no family. The state is a kind of family will be there, so that people cannot differentiate between each other. So Plato was looking towards a state based on the idea about the family, how we can love each other, how we can support each other, and how we can sacrifice our what you call sacrifice our interest, or try to protect the others. So Plato was trying to create a state that should be based on the idea about the family. Means the state is nothing else, the family part kind of thing will be there. And apart from that, we have also discussed about the Plato's philosopher king. Plato has said that to run the state, there is a very important requirement for the educated, knowledgeable person. A knowledgeable person can only run the state. Without knowledge, the state cannot be run. The person cannot run the state, or we can't able to run the state. So he has said that the philosopher king, the person who will attain the education till the age of 35, and after 35 to the 50, the person will go for the training. Such kind of person is only capable enough to run the state, because the person will not only aware about the truth, the person will not differentiate between what is good and what is bad, but the person will identify that what is the good for the state, and what are the decisions need to be required at a critical situation, as means during the time of critical condition, or the such kind of point. So Plato has said that that kind of decisions can only be taken by the philosopher king. And the philosopher king, because he she is very much aware about the truth, what is truth is there, and the person is knowledge able, so he can identify. For example, I have told you, if you want to go to your home, if you have the knowledge about the route, then you can reach your home within half an hour, whatsoever time will be there. But if you don't know the route, it will make you the problem, and you will have a problem, as well as you will take a lot of time. So these were the theories which we have discussed. So Plato, why the Plato has given all these 5 6 theories? Plato has given the idea about all these theories to make the ideal state, to give the idea about the ideal state. So Plato's book Republic is basically trying to revolve around how we can create ideal state. The ideal state means the state which can never see the civil war, the state which can never see the kind of problem between the hate or division between the society. He was looking towards a state which is stable, there is no war, the state which is based on the principle of happiness. All the persons are living or residing in the state only for the purpose of the happiness. So the Plato was talking towards how we can not only provide the safety to the individual, but we can make a way towards the happy life to all the person. So in this regard, Plato has talked about that state is nothing else. the state is a larger format of an individual. In the initial lectures, I have mentioned you that Plato has said that like human body, same thing. The function of the state is there. What the Plato has said, that it is brain, the brain which always take the decision, the brain which always do the work on the basis of knowledge. So according to the Plato, the brain is nothing else but the philosopher king, a thinker or the ruler, the decision making body. We always take the decision on the basis of brain, so brain rules on our body. Same thing like that, Plato has said that philosopher king will rule over the state. Now, the next thing, Plato has talked about the heart and the spirit, the hands. So Plato has talked about it is the courage and the spirit which protects the boundaries. So he was talking about the soldiers and the military officers. They are the part of courage and the spirit. And the next is the appetite and the desire. Plato has said that like in our body, we have the stomach which want food. So in a state, there is also kind of person who are engaged on the activities of work related to the agriculture, industry, businessman kind of thing. So Plato has said that we can divide the state into these three parts. So this is the basic nature of the state is there. So if you can overall, if you can identify what are those key characteristics of Plato's philosophy of the ideal state is there. First of all, the Plato has said that state should be ruled by a very knowledgeable and the educated person. प्लेटो का कहना था कि किसी भी राज्य को एक अनपढ़ या कम शिक्षित व्यक्ति के द्वारा नहीं चलाया जा सकता, बिकॉज the less educated person cannot capable enough to take the decisions related to the state, what is good for the state and what is the bad for the state first. Second thing, what Plato has said, educated person will overcome from the concept of self-interest. Means according to the Plato, what Plato has said, जो शिक्षित व्यक्ति होगा, जो पढ़ा लिखा व्यक्ति होगा, वो स्वयं से निकल के दूसरों के लिए हमेशा कार्य करता है. Plato has said, after attaining the knowledge, after gaining the knowledge and the education, the person will delete the word self. For Plato has said, the person who will do the education at the age, till the age of 50, the person will always go for the work like hours. Means the person will devote to the others, to means rather than the self. Means Plato has said that it is education which which cleans the human mind and human soul. So same thing like that, Plato has said the philosopher king will overcome from all the issues related to the private property, self-interest, power, dignity and all, because the person is aware about what is truth is there in the world, what is truth, where the truth lies. So he was talking about that philosophy of a philosopher king. No qualified absolutism means unqualified, means the Plato has said that each work in the state can be divided on the basis of the qualification. Why qualification? If a person have done the training of the military, that person can only do the work of military. The person cannot do the work of the the business class or the workers class, and the military can also not do the work of philosopher king. So what Plato has said, that means the person who have achieved whatever education is there, the person can do those kind of work. मतलब कि जो व्यक्ति जैसी शिक्षा लिया है, that kind of person will do those kind of work. The person will not do the work of other fellows. Next thing. The next very important thing, Plato has said that ideal state can only be established on the basis of the idea about the education. Without education, we cannot imagine about the state. So Plato has said that the education should be controlled by the state. Means education is very important tool for the state's development and the state. So Plato has said that we need to establish those kind of institutions which should be controlled by the state. Means state will control the education. Means state will see the affairs about the education, where we need to open the academy, to whom we can provide the education. And in the Plato's theory of education, Plato has said that education is compulsory for all, and that can only be possible when the education is controlled by the स्टेट. मतलब कि एक राज्य में शिक्षा तभी सभी व्यक्ति को मिल सकती है जब राज्य में शिक्षा मतलब कि आपके राज्य के हाथों में हो. अदरवाइज how the state can say to the private fellow to provide the education to all the person. So this that kind of thing had been mentioned about the Plato, like what we see in the modern era. मतलब कि आज के समय में हम जैसे देखते हैं कि विश्व के मीन्स ऑल द कंट्रीज इन द वर्ल्ड they are providing the education to their citizens, and in our constitution article 21A, which has given the education as a fundamental right to all the Indians, means it is all the Indians whosoever have born, they have right to take the education. The next thing Plato has talked about, आज के समय में जैसा हम करें कि न्याय के बिना राज्य की नींव नहीं रखी जा सकती. विदाउट जस्टिस वी कैन नॉट एबल टू थिंक अबाउट द स्टेट. द जस्टिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टूल, and justice is a kind of breathing, or it is a kind of oxygen for the body. Same thing like that, Plato has said that justice is also a kind of oxygen for the body. Without justice we can't, the state cannot survive, the state work cannot be distributed properly, all the person cannot do the work in a proper manner. So Plato has talked about that ideal state, that state is very important, and in the ideal state the justice is one of the important concept, and without justice we cannot think about the ideal state. The next thing which Plato has talked about in the education, the censorship is very important. Censorship means we should not have to protect, promote, or we should not have to provide the education which is spoiling the nature of a state, or which may bring the clash between the people, which may harm the nature of the state. So what Plato has said, the censorship on the education is very important. So Plato has talked about that. The next thing Plato has said, that property and the family. Plato was correct that family and the property is one of the important concept in the state, and Plato has seen that how the family and the private property always corrupts the state, and it is the private property which brings corrupt the human mind. It is the family which divides the people between the this is my children and this is your children. So Plato was trying to remove that kind of boundary. Plato was trying to make the state that is based on the idea about the family. मतलब कि प्लेटो एक ऐसे राज्य की स्थापना करना चाहता था जिसमें राज्य का स्वरूप एक परिवार के आधार पे हो, मतलब कि राज्य को परिवार की तरह हर व्यक्ति देखे. और प्लेटो का जो मुख्य था कि प्लेटो ने कहीं भी अपनी बुक में, प्लेटो हैज nowhere mentioned about or distinguished between the man and the woman. Means Plato has nowhere talked about that gender based kind of discrimination or gender kind of subject. And the last, Plato's key characteristics of the state was that all the person can perform the work according to their specialization, according to their whatever the specialization is there. So overall, if we can do the analysis of the Plato's theory of ideal state, we can say that this is very important. In any state, the person whosoever is performing their work or the activity, that person should be expert in their own domain. मतलब कि आज मैं आपको क्लास ले रहा हूं, या तो जो कोई भी व्यक्ति जो कोई कार्य कर रहा है वो अपने कार्य में दक्ष हो. The person should be very qualified enough. The person should be very well qualified enough to do the work. मतलब कि कोई व्यक्ति जो कार्य करता है वो अपने एरिया में स्पेशलाइज्ड और एक्सपर्ट हो, क्योंकि if I am not expert in my domain, then I can't able to perform my work in a more accurate manner. So that was a very important point mentioned about the state by the Plato. Plato has said that how the philosopher king should be there, means the decision making body should have to have very good knowledge and understanding about the truth. So like in all the state, all the countries in the world, the most point of time you can find it out that the prime minister, the president, all the country head, they always appoint a expert group, and they always do the work on the basis of the expert group's suggestion. Whatever the expert group suggests, they always take the decision. Same thing like that, Plato was trying to establish the state where the decision making body or decision making person can take the decision on the basis of the education. There are some negative points are there are some pitfalls are there. Plato has nowhere distinguished between the ethics and the politics. The ethics subject is related to the emotions and the values. but the politics is not based on the emotions and the values. The politics is based on the how to run the state, how to protect the right of individual, how to protect the harmony or the kind of friendliness between the people. So Plato has nowhere distinguished between the ethics and the politics. This is one of the important concept critique that had been made by the Barker. That next critique is been made by the what you call the some thinker like the Sabine. They have said that Plato has failed to condemn the institution of slavery. Plato has nowhere talked about how the slavery has spoiled the nature of state and how the slavery is bad. So nowhere Plato has talked about the idea about the slavery and the critique of the slavery. Next is the temporary marriage is detestable and unethical. Means that Plato was talking about the marriage just for the temporary marriage. So Plato has said that two person will meet, male and the female, and they can do the temporary marriage. And after when the child will take the birth, they will separate enough, and the child will be taken care by the state. So this is the critique mentioned by the CL Vapor that we cannot detach the two human being, and this is very much idealistic principle. And this is the critique of the Plato's one of the critique of the Plato's ideal state. It is very much idealistic based on the ideas. It is far away from the truth. It is not possible to make such kind of unethical and such a idealistic kind of family where the person can give or sacrifice the child, the state will take care of the child. So that kind of thing has also been criticized by the several scholars. The next critique is the Plato theory on the state was based on the more आइडलिस्टिक मतलब प्लेटो ने जो राज्य का सिद्धांत दिया वो बहुत ही ज्यादा आदर्शवादी है, वो रियलिटी से कोसों दूर है. मतलब द प्लेटो's theory of ideal state which he has discussed in his book Republic, that is far away from the truth and the real world. And the Plato has nowhere talked about what is the role of what do you call the kind of business class, what how the business class can perform the work. So Plato has demeaned the work of the lower class. Plato has given the priority to the philosopher king. Overall, if we can compare whole philosophy about the Plato, then we can say that Plato was trying to establish an ideal state which should be mm, based on the model of which should be based on the model of good governance. The person the specialization of work can be there. The person can live with the harmony. The state can overcome from the problem of civil war or those kind of things. So that was overall Plato's idea of the state. So we have all discussed all the things, all the queries. So if any student have any queries or the questions, so you can ask me. किसी कोई डाउट है, कोई क्वेरी है, कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप पूछ सकते हो.
Sir, I have a question.
Go ahead, love.
Sir, I want to ask that can you tell the name of that theory of Plato where he talked about the concept of no family? No family.
That is Plato's theory of communism of private property and the family.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Naman. Go ahead.
Sir, I want to ask that which person has said that Plato has nowhere talked about the idea of slavery? Yeah.
In the book of Barkers and the Sabine, both the fellows have written in their book. If you read their book, they have mentioned about that Plato has nowhere talked about the slavery because during that period of the time, the slavery was very much well-known concept, and the Plato has nowhere talked about the slavery, and he has not made any comment on that. When you will read the Aristotle, then you will know that slavery is there. So Plato has nowhere talked about that thing.
Thank you, sir.
So any other questions? किसी और कोई doubt है?
Sir, could you please explain the ethics from politics evaluation point?
Okay. See, what is first of all we need to understand what is the ethics stands for. Ethics stands for the morality. मतलब कि हमें जो भी whatsoever the decision we used to take, that should be based on the emotions and the values. But the politics, I'm talking about based on the reality. The decisions should be based on the real facts rather than the idealistic. Like whenever we are talking about the Afghanistan situation, current Afghanistan war, so Indian government should not take the decision on the basis of ethics, that no, we are the people are killing, we have to go there and help them. The Indian government should be very well known enough that what is the truth is there. The ethics is other factor, but we should have to take the decision on the basis of the reality, on the truth, on the hardcore fact, not based on the idealistic or not based on the emotions or the values. Clear, Unnati?
Yes, sir. Thank you.